My name is
Gigi,
and representing four, where we treat treated two policy briefs. The topic: strengthening food system resilience and rural livelihood security in our state, and designing inclusive and climate-sensitive social protection systems in KWARA State. And looking critically at the presentations that have been made earlier, everything is actually interwoven. So I will sort of synthesize it up so that there won't be any unnecessary repetition. However, we'll take it to the point. We have in our questions. Okay, we have in our questions, what are the major problems affecting food security and livelihood in vulnerable communities? Record has already shown that the most of the food that is eaten by the majority of people are grown by smallholder farmers. And looking at KWARA State, we discovered that presently our grassroots communities, rural communities are plagued by the social conflicts that we're having on the very present. But looking at this project, I understand that it has taken effect from 2024, when the social conflict has not become these items. However, what we have trending as of that time is farmers herders clash, where farmers grow their crops and others go there to feed the crops to their cattle. Alright? So we are going to be addressing that in that light, and as well engaging also that with the present reality, because we are big on how sustainable our results are. The projects that have been conducted in the past 2-3 years, majority of them will just be giving us results now. So if we do not develop a system that will make them sustainable, eventually we are going to lose that investment. So factors influencing food insecurity and livelihood. One, we identified erratic rainfall patterns and unpredictable weather. In 2024, 2025, in KWARA State in particular, we see farmers and religious groups, both Christian body and Muslim body, praying for rain. If you live in KWARA, you will understand what I'm saying. I, as a person as well, I lost my investment into this climate shock. But what I faced that other farmers in the state also face is not just the climate shock, but the social conflict that we have addressed, which is what? The farmers others conflict. Secondly, farmer others conflict that we have, then we have land scarcity. I can confirm to us that if you take the data of those that are farming, and before I go to that, I look at the policy brief given to my my group 4. I discovered that those that were identified as being marginalized when it comes to government input and the likes, they recognize the people living with disabilities, but youth in agriculture was exempted in that program. I am a youth, I farm, and I have to do what? Ensure that I speak for that category of people as well. Okay? And I want to say that this category of people have their input in the food security in the nation. Okay? So it is important that we include them also in the data that we are working with. And this category of people, based on the size and the volume of what they are practicing, they do not have access to land as it were. Some of them are not even indigent. So they do what? They lease land, which they cannot plant tree crops, just the way seedlings are given out to beneficiaries of this program. They cannot plant trees on a rented or a leased farm. So that already takes them out of this program as it were. Also, we have in our question, livelihood, the factors influencing livelihoods and food security and livelihood in vulnerable communities. Part of the issue is that majority of the interventions that come to play are infiltrated by politicians or political people. I want to say that be it AFAN or whichever association, majority of them, you will discover that they belong to one political group or the other. In fact, it will amaze you that as much as the government is doing, giving fertilizer and input and all, on spot, some people are actually trading them off. That is to say that they are not direct farmers. So in a way, this does not really get to the end users. However, we cannot take that out completely, because I have been in the States and I've been a stakeholder, and I've been able to see that a system has actually worked, and that is by integrating the CSOs and NGOs in the States. I can take example from the rice palliative distribution. I can take example from the fertilizer distribution. I covered by routine, distributed to over 300 farmers. Okay, I was there for oversight functions, monitoring, and evaluation. So the community I cover as an NGO person from time, I am apolitical. So I'm not interested in be it Accord or APC or PDP. In as much as you have shown interest in the program, you are a beneficiary. So in this, our recommendation, we recommend that the government should incorporate CSOs and NGOs, that their dealings will not be based on political affiliations, because the community they serve from time, they don't come under the umbrella of any political group. So they come to meet the community people. If you like APC, you are still a community person. All right? So anything you are getting is not from any politically influenced system. Also, how can government program better support poor and vulnerable? That's my question. How can government better support? Okay. I'm very much excited that we have Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Housing, and the likes here. And our recommendations and my addition to a recommendation will cover all of those. I want to add that majority of us receive unsolicited SMS from MTN and other service providers. What is their use if they cannot actually give us information about climate shock news, the early awareness about climate incidences, if they collaborate with NIMET and the likes? Also, we have our radio stations, some of them are doing fine. We have National Radio Agency, I'm not sure they are here. I'm not sure they are here. They are part of the stakeholders that ought to be, to up their game to ensure that these systems of early warning, that people need to be aware of what is coming as far as climate shock is concerned, they will be able to carry such information along. And also, this cannot be achieved if the government does not actually integrate them. They are running their business. MTN is doing its own business. But if there are policies in place, like for instance, your CSOs, your social corporate responsibilities should include this. Majority of them actually have budgetary allocations for them, but nobody is questioning it. And at the end of the day, they wrap it up or do whatever. So if they can actually organize it in such a way that, okay, as a communication business, this is part of what you're going to be carrying out during rainy season. This is what you're going to be doing in the dry season. In collaboration with NIMET and the likes, we discover that we go a long way, and also leverage it on radio, because that is the only means of information dissemination to the grassroots level. If you don't have data, just have lights on your phone, you can listen to radio. Okay? So I so much believe that we can have an institutional synergy that will help people prepare for this kind of climate shock, and which, of course, will help vulnerable communities to become resilient. Also, what can be done to improve food production, household income, and livelihood opportunity? I have seen governments done quite a number of things. Food is a very sensitive subject matter. I think one of our presenters was talking about improved seed. so that we can have bountiful harvests. I think we should be very, very particular about what we eat, such that we will not be eating poison, thinking we are eating. This is the era of explosive GMO, infiltration into the market, and it has gotten. If you are, very much aware of the economy of the country, you know that Nigerian ginger is in crisis presently. You know that some of our food products, they are in crisis presently simply because of these system. All right. So I want to say that essentially we should be wary of these systems that are not supporting organic farming. And when the government is giving out inputs, we recommend that the government should switch from these synthetic and fertilizers, to inorganic farm inputs to organic inputs, simply because of the damage they are doing to our soil and bio.